Hello there, and welcome to my review of the Art of Death Stranding. As you can see, this is a really nice sized art book. This is a serious art book and it feels really substantial. As you can see, it's a reasonable thickness here. It's all nice and new and sealed. It's got gold on the actual edge of the paper. So you get this nice little gold effect here. It's got a gold back as well. Now this book is not cheap. It was $29.99. I paid full price for it. I normally wait for books to come down in price because it can get expensive. I do buy quite a few, but I could not miss out on this book. I had to own this book. I didn't want to actually crack it open until I finished the game because the game is fantastic. I have a review of the game. I took my sweet time with it. I savoured it. I enjoyed every moment of it. And it is a work of genius in my opinion. So I am quite biased, but I will give you an honest opinion on the art book itself. Because this game deserves an amazing art book. And my initial impressions are very good. This feels like a nice quality item. Definitely something you want to collect. And when my girlfriend saw it, she was like, well, that's a nice looking book. And she actually suggested I buy another one to keep, like sealed, as sort of an investment. And I actually think that she's right. Death Stranding is going to be a game that people look back on as a modern classic, and people will want this book. And in say 10 years' time, people will still be very interested in this game. And a book like this, like sealed, could actually be worth quite a bit of money. Yeah, actually I think I'm going to hold on to this. I'm not going to open it. No, I'm only joking. I bought this to enjoy it, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to open the book up and flick through the whole book, and we're going to enjoy it together, and I'm going to tell you what I think of it. Okay, so here we go.
Okay, so first things first, I'm going to open it up. Okay, this is going to be tricky. Don't want to damage the gold metallic edging on the pages. I'm a bit of trouble. Actually, this isn't so easy to do with the book lying down. There we go. Aha. I'm just being really careful because I don't want to damage it. You can see there's a nice matte finish. And it's got a full sleeve. It is a hardback. Now, I have actually seen the contents of this book before. I did watch some flick throughs quite a few months ago, before I even started playing the game. Okay, let's put that on the floor. Okay. Put that away, just be safe. That's a cool image. Those are the strands coming down from the logo. It's a nice touch. And we can see the handprints on Sam there. It's played by Norman Reedus, of course, from Walking Dead fame. Oh, the camera's... Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. I had to take a little break there because my cat Patch was playing with that plastic wrapping. I buy him all these fancy toys. Well, I've bought him a remote control mouse, but he's not interested. But a bit of plastic wrapping or a bit of string, he's happy as Larry. And there we can see the front cover actually animated. Some mysterious figures. And this is such an intriguing image. I mean, if this doesn't pique your interest, then what will? And it's all Strand related, as we can see there. The page quality feels really nice. I mean, there's hardly any glare. There's the contents. There's a nice lot of contents there. So we've got like 256 pages to get through of high quality concept art. So I suggest you maybe get a drink or maybe even a bite to eat. This could be a long video. Okay, so we have some early looking concepts for Sam, his outfit. It looks very Metal Gear Solid, doesn't it? That's interesting to see. And that's one of the things that I noticed about this book, how they've got the early concept work, not just the finished concept work they use in the games. And word of warning, I will be showing actual in-game footage, so you can see how the concept work actually translated into finished assets for the game. I always think that's interesting to see, and how they've been developed and implemented by the modelers and texturers. And there's what looks like there's a final concept there for Sam's suit. Some very cool designs for his gloves and his boots. And we can see the otter helmet there. That's certainly going to keep your head warm. And this is also in the game. This it allows you to zip around that kind of structure there. This is beautiful, isn't it? You can see all the work and all the different attachments, packages. He's got his boots there. And there's so much design work just in that. And here we have some more gadgets. There's lots of gadgets in Kojima games. And there's even a camera mode, so you can actually slow things down with the camera mode, kind of freeze frame, and then you can zoom around. And here's a closer look at the kind of supports for your legs, making you go faster, makes you can carry more. And there's different sets of legs for different terrains. It's because of that umbilical cord there going to that little pod. We've got more mechanical designs, more really beautifully designed gadgets. The handcuffs there, they're kind of like a multi-tool. Not sure what that is there on the shoulder there, but they're basically for defence. So you put those on to stop the bullets. That's a nice image of Sam just sort of sitting down. And here's a look at what that looks like in the game. The animation work is so good. And that's the thing, all these gadgets have got to be animated. They've all got to be usable. They've all had to have some sort of purpose. So there's a huge amount of work of actually turning these things into assets for the game. The artists have done an amazing job. Yep, let's clap the artists.
All right, let's go.
There's a little shelter there that shelters you from the rain. Okay, and here we have the dream catcher there in the middle. That's a Native American sort of mobile for children. And it's got a bit of corallium in the middle there, that gold substance. There's Bridget, not looking too well. Here we have an early concept for Emily, or Amelie. Bit of fashion design there. And there she is in the game. As you can see, it's Lindsay Wagner, the actress, as she used to look in the 70s. That was really weird, like surreal to see that. Of course you can do that in the game. A Die Hard man there. It's an interesting early sketch there of him, looking a lot more sort of rugged and his dead man. I always wondered about that scar on his head. That's Hartman. He's a character that can actually bring himself back from the dead. He does it all the time. And here's Mama. Yeah, another interesting character. In fact, this is what she looks like in the game. And she's got her own version of the BT scanner, sort of attached to her shoulder.
She's sound asleep. I made sure she got plenty of milk. Just do it. Please, Sam. Set her straight. This world was never hers, but all the same, I didn't want her to leave it.
Lockney, that's her sister. Cool outfit. I love the way this vehicle has this hydraulics. That's so cool.
Igor, Bridges Corpse Disposal. Sam Porter, I presume? Right. Not the touchy-feely type.
That's a cool outfit. And here she is, fragile. She definitely doesn't look like a biker girl. Have that really strange umbrella.
Watch yourself.
Apparently that was inspired by fragments of glass, and actually used a bit of paper, like to fold it up a bit of paper to sort of test it, what it looked like. That's really, really eye-catching. I like her stance as well. She's got attitude, and you can see her hair covering her eyes there. So that's an earlier sketch. And here we have the mules. Oh no, these are the porters. These are other porters that roam around. They're not actual other players. They are computer controlled. You don't see them that often. There's all their accessories as well. And they can be a bit troublesome. And there's a little sensor there. I've been detected. So they're after me. Uh-oh. I love the physics. I love the way the physics affect the enemies as well. And he's got that cattle prod you saw. It's got some ceramics on him. Oi! Right, you're going to pay for that. Oh, he looks drunk there. He's a bit dazed. Oh, wait a minute, there's two of them now. Get up. This is getting a bit out of hand. And you can pick up packages and throw them at them. Which is probably what I should have done. Wait. You get a kind of slow, classic slow. It's very cinematic. Let's get the ceramics. You can see my bike there. That's as high as I can up. That's as far as I can go. I'm gonna leave my bike. And there's one of the accessories there on that mule. And these guys they're just like fanatics about packages. They just want to nick your packages and take them back to their base. And you often have to go to the base and rescue your packages. And often Die Hardman, he will pull you to the side and say, "Oh, someone got their packages stolen. Can you go and get them?" It's like, why me? Do I have to do everything in this game? You can see all the different variations that they do. Obviously, they don't use all of this stuff. I think that's the thing about being a concept artist. A lot of that stuff you're working on doesn't get used. You can't be too attached to it. You have to work quickly, and you don't noodle things too much. It's all about doing things as efficiently as possible. And his Higgs, named after the Higgs boson. And you can see definitely Egyptian inspired. The gold and the black.
You're on the menu.
And he's got his own version of the scanner there.
One itty bitty void out to blow us all to kingdom come. So how about it? Aren't you getting tired of the grind? Isn't this what you've been waiting for?
It's really interesting to see the sort of exploratory sketches, different ideas. Obviously, they don't just come up with these ideas straight away. There's so much work that goes into trying at different things. So you have to go to like Hideo Kojima and say, what about this? What about that? And he's like, yeah, that's what I want. Now take it away and redo it. There's an early Higgs sketch there. Here's a terrorist. That's a very unusual looking helmet there. And on the left there, that's more of a piece of production art, where you actually get into noodle all the different details for the modelers and texturers to work to. So you see this very sketchy concept work, but then this very sort of detailed work for the actual production artists. And quite interestingly in this game, there's like scenes from World War I and II and even Vietnam. It seems a bit strange, but when you play the game it is kind of explained. But again, that's a load more work for the concept artists. They have to work so quickly and so efficiently. They're under so much pressure. Obviously they want to get on with production. They need to know what this stuff is meant to look like and set the mood. With the colour palettes. There definitely is a feeling of desolation and isolation in this game. It's big landscapes. And I love that plane. I love the sense of movement they have there. Of the particles in the atmosphere. And there is definitely photo mashing going on here. You can definitely see that there are photos being used as reference. But that's a skill in of itself, being able to use photos and incorporate them in your work and making it look good. And we have like this giant BT It's got hands. He's got no hands here. They've used the hands in his head instead. A really weird, really striking design. And you can see they're exploring there, the different heads. And they settled on this hand design. And when you see it in the game, the sense of scale is fantastic. Got the umbilical cord there. Here he goes. One of the characters disappeared into the head. So the hand's kind of like grasping the character. And then you get this void out, this matter-antimatter explosion that leaves a massive crater. And here you can see that you have the sea creatures. Obviously Death Stranding says lots of sea creatures. But they actually have all these tentacles and things on them. I suppose it makes it look really cool when they're animating it. I love the lighting. I always like to see like silhouettes in concept work. And of course it cuts down on a lot of the detailing work you have to do. And it's interesting to see this character. It's like, it looks more like a cat. I mean, what's a cat got to do with the sea? So, not sure about that, but it looks cool. Look at these giant whales that float around. So it's really interesting to see all these sort of exploratory ideas. That's what I really love about this book, is it's beautifully set out. And the quality of the printing is fantastic. You can, and the pages are nice matte finished pages. But also the art itself. You're seeing the development of this game. You're seeing how it evolved, and I find that incredibly interesting and inspiring. It's interesting to see how much of this stuff didn't make it into the game. As you can see, as the game world, like the idea of the game world solidifies and develops, then the concept work has to sort of develop as well. That's very spooky, that one at the bottom there. It kind of reminds me very much of Gothic, not Gothic, but dark fantasy. Very Souls-like, some of these images. You can imagine them as monsters from the Dark Souls series. More horror? More kind of a horror vibe? The production definitely seemed to move away from that. So they're definitely experimenting there with how the BTs look. Now this is classic concept art here. You know, it's so it's very minimal. You know, you just need to convey what you need to convey, a mood, you know, or some design. And here's the crabs, and these crabs look a lot more kind of fantasy. Although the one on the left, the final design, you can still see the sort of face there, but it looks more like an actual crab. Now these designs here, I mean, that kind of bubble creature, that is like something straight out of Dark Souls to me. And obviously they didn't use these designs. These are, it says that they look a bit too gamey. That's what they said about these. So yeah, early concepts. So it looks like there was going to be a lot more BT designs rather than just mainly humanoid designs. But I can't understand why Kojima sort of moved away from that. to give it a more realistic kind of vibe. Again, this looks really like it could be a boss from Dark Souls or Bloodborne. Two of my favourite games, by the way. Again, this could definitely be a Souls boss. But then it goes to show that sometimes you just need to refocus on what it is you're trying to achieve. I mean, cool monster designs are great, but you do need to stay focused. You know, what's your game about? What are you trying to say? Nice bit of motion there in that picture. But as you can see, this is like really kind of, some of it's really sketchy, but you know, that's what it needs to be. It just needs to be done quickly. And onto the vehicles now. But you can see obviously that vehicle on the left there, I mean, those are beautifully detailed, and you can see the early sketches. Look at those shades, they're so cool. Obviously an upside down rainbow there. That's where the rainbow's sort of being created by the lensing effect of another world. You know, the atmospheric lensing effect of a different world, not this world. And you saw the aging effect on his hair there when the rain hit his hair. That's like the time fall effect. It actually accelerates time. And you can see the kind of reverse tricycle. It's got two wheels at the front, and you can see that here. And you can see it actually moving with the suspension. It's so cool. I like the lights as well. Definitely looks like track tyres. They don't look like cross-country tyres. But this cutscene tells you so much about the game. There's so much here going on. There's the rain coming. You see when the time fall affected that bird. He's got a hood on, so he's okay. Time to go. So the BTs are after him. And I think that's the thing, like Kojima is the main man. Everyone knows about Hideo Kojima and all these fantastic games he's made. But he's got like a sidekick, Yuji Shinkawa. And he does all these fantastic designs. Does fantastic mechanical design. And he's been with Kojima, you know, since the early days, you know, doing throughout the Metal Gear Solid games. He does fantastic work. Some cool interior designs for the vehicle. I don't think you even see these in the game. Even the vehicles themselves get affected by the time fall. And you can see a vehicle here that's been out in the rain. It's a load more texturing work for the texture artists. It's smoking. It's brilliant. It must be amazing for the artists, you know, like Yuji Shinkawa, when he sees his designs realised in the games, brought to life. Must be so proud of what he's achieved. And this Fragile's boat that is actually in the game, and so is that harvester there. Now I thought the gun designs were so interesting. They look very sort of utilitarian, you know. They're not made to look amazing necessarily. You know, they're very functional. So you see, You can see he's using actual real world things to inspire him. His design language. And you can see that the butts of the guns can actually contract there, because these things have to actually be able to be carried around. So they kind of like fold up, sort of thing. See, it's a common thing, even on the bowler gun there at the top left, one of my favourite guns. And here we go, look at them in the game. And there's that fires 4 rockets at once. That's very handy when you're going up against the bosses. Definitely want one of those. There's so much design work in that. Just one gun. So easy to underestimate the amount of work that goes into these games. When you just sit there and play it and you go, oh, that was good. What's next? And you don't necessarily think about all this work. There's a structure that wasn't used, like a catapult there. And I really like this kind of thing that spins around on the bridge. This kind of ball-shaped thing. And we can see that here. Kind of, it's like peeks at you and then pops up. And I love the kind of it's got an eye that moves around and the whole thing rotates. I love all that movement. You know, people build structures like this that you can use, and you can see even this structure's degrading here. You can see that rust. These structures degrade and you have to repair them. You don't have to, you can just let it rot. You know, if you find things handy, you can just give it a thumbs up. But to see, going from that into the game, to see your design in the game, must be one of the coolest things about being a concept artist. Yes, you're under a lot of pressure, you have to put out a lot of work, but, you know, like those legs there, this little robot that helps you out, this little porter bot. You see him in the game. It's so cool. He's got little boots on there. Okay, so now we get to all the locations. Don't think the camera likes this page for some reason. Sorry about that. Okay, central knot. You can see sort of an overall design of the city down the bottom there. It's like monuments in these cities. I like all the waterways there. You see that in the game. Bit of camera flare. But this is all photogrammetry, so this was actually captured from terrain in Iceland. Basically, they take lots of high resolution photos and then they put that into a program that actually turns those photos into 3D geometry. It's very clever stuff. It's used more and more in games now. Particularly good for rocky environments.
Once there was an explosion.
And here we can see a massive void out crater. This is caused by the antimatter explosions when someone dies or when someone is taken to the other side. And you can see the modelling and texture and artists have really done a fantastic job.
That will be our last.
And bottom right here you can see a little bit of concept art for the crater. Yeah, see, that definitely looks like a bit of photo mashing going on there. But again, the photos have been integrated really well, quickly but effectively. Exploring different walls there for the cities. looks fairly drab and overcast. Definitely a sense of isolation. I mean, the world itself, I mean, there's some birds there, but when you're playing the world, it's very devoid of any sort of life at all. There's little outposts where they've got the humans, and in between that, it's just pretty much empty. And it gives you a sense of just being alone out in the wilderness. And there's the mules. It looks like they're using a tanker as a base there. An old tanker. I don't remember that in the game. It would have been cool. I mean, that's just... They are kind of sketchy, but I love the images. That bottom right image, I really love that one. And again, the sense of atmosphere. See Fragile's boat down the bottom there. But it looks as though they tried to make each location have a different feel, a different vibe about it. Some definite photo mashing going on there. Big time. They don't even worry about the resolution of the photos. Yeah, that's not really important. Again, photo mashing, but they must have a big library of stuff that they use. But to actually, to do this stuff without photos, to get this level of detail, will take so much longer. And also the lighting of the photo can help inform them as well. So they're looking for inspiration from the photo reference, not just, oh, I need a bit of debris, I need a cliff face. That's a very basic lens flare there. Slap it on. Yeah, that'll do. Show it to Kojima. Does he like it? Doesn't he like it? That's the BTs there. Giant. They've definitely gone for more like humanoid forms. Because basically when you die in the game, you turn into a BT, so it makes sense to keep them more humanoid. Some unused locations is really interesting to see, actually. I don't remember police in the game at all. Must be a very early image. That's the one thing about this book. It's a beautiful book. The quality is fantastic. I love all these little bits of annotation as well, telling you little bits of information about the pieces of art. I would actually like a bit more text. There's the bridges facility. You see these facilities all over the place. That's kind of like a boat, doesn't it? Which again fits in with the nautical theme. The place of safety, place of refuge. But I love this kind of futuristic designs that are overlaid on these ruined cityscapes. I love the art direction. That's why I bought the book. I like any game like this that has fantastic art direction. I want to own the book. I want to own a physical copy. But you can see the level of detail that goes into designing all this stuff. And there's the bottom left, there's a sensor we saw earlier when the mules were after me. And here's that texture for the lift. This takes you down inside into your little room you got where you can have a shower. So the graphic design work there, it's really nice. So cool. And here we have some concept work for the different displays and things. And the still mothers, this is to do with where the little bridge babies, the BBs, come from. It's a bit grim. So when I was doing the review, I've done a review of the game, I didn't really go into that. Because the mothers are actually still alive in this sort of stasis. And there's an early concept there, because that isn't actually in the game. You see like the bellies and the mothers like that. That's really spooky. You have the more the finished design there. That pod looks very much again like Egyptian, inspired, like a sarcophagus. Which the bridge baby is in like a little sarcophagus if you think about it. And I suppose that again that's to do with death and going to the underworld, the netherworld. When you die, you do go to like a seam. It's called the seam, and then you go to your own personal beach. There's a crematory. You have to get cremated when you die in the game. If you don't cremate the bodies, eventually they will cause a explosion, a antimatter explosion. You get these massive craters. And that's the first thing that happens in the game actually, like there's a body and you have to get it out of town before it explodes. It's Hartzman's lab. It's really cool when you come across that in the game actually. That's the guy that can die and bring himself back to life. Actually stops and starts his own heart. I go Mule Camps. Let's have a little look at one in the game.
Yeah, this is nice.
It is nice. Have some nice camps. Well, if they just leave stuff lying around, you're going to take it, right? They probably stole it all anyway, you're stealing it back. It's not technically theft. Oh, there's one of the mules I knocked out. You can see all these little gadgets on him. Love those masts. I don't think anyone's going to complain about those masks being there. I didn't see that in the game. It looks like a warning, like stay away. So I suppose they might be going to have those around the camps. They do actually grow food. So I suppose if you can use the time fall. If you know when the time fall's coming, you can use it to grow the food faster. As long as you harvest it in time. Again, that looks very like a photo, and they've just painted on top of it. And they've been doing that in the film industry for a long time, matte painting. And you can see there's hardly any glare here on these pages. it's a really nice matte finish. It's perfect actually for an art book.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We have
Here's Yoji Shingawa's designs again. But of course, when you're doing this concept work, you're thinking about how's this going to be put into the game. You know, how's it going to animate? You know, it's got these designs, but you're thinking about motion as well, like in the game. How do the parts all work together? It's kind of cute. But there's so much design work in this game. I think, I was involved in industrial design, so I suppose I really appreciate this stuff. I think that's when photo mashing really comes into its own with destroyed environments like cities. It's really going to save you so much time. A great use of light to create atmosphere. But that looks very Planet of the Apes, doesn't it? Remember the Statue of Liberty on the beach at the end is very much inspired by that, I think. And interestingly here, the rainbows are actually, they're not inverted. So obviously that was something that Kojima came up with later on. And here's one of the environments. And you can see all the photogrammetry there. It's literally like a real environment, and there's all bits that they've put together. There's Emily's beach. So basically everyone has their own beach, and when you die you basically get stranded on your beach. And here's Emily's beach. Obviously Higgs don't want us to be here. It definitely looks more like a web design in the finished game. So you can see Kojima's like changing things and adding things all the time. Lots of different exploratory sketches here. Well, they're not really sketches, they're like little bits of art. Okay, I don't remember that from the game. Obviously here things have gone badly wrong. But the binding on the book is top quality. Like, it's a top quality production. I would have liked, say, an interview with Yoji Shingawa or any of the other artists, talking about their inspirations. Well, that definitely looks like 2001, doesn't it? Space Odyssey, that baby and the planet. But yeah, I'd just like to hear more from the artists. That would have been nice. And that's my only criticism, I suppose, of the book. Here's Emily's beach. They've definitely gone for a different look, but it works. Yeah, it definitely works. The sun is setting on the planet Earth. Gone for more of a glow. Silhouettes. Rather than a misty look of the concept art. I really like that concept art though. Okay, and that's the end of the book. If you got this far, congratulations. Yoji Shingawa, there he is, lead concept artist. I'd be very interested to see what he does next. Or whatever. Obviously he's going to be involved with Kojima, whatever it is. I think the rumour is it's going to be a horror game. Out and out horror. We'll have to wait and see. Now the back is gold. It's not metallic gold, but it's just a gold colour. But that finish, that gold metallic finish on the edges of the pages, it really gives it a quality feel. And you can see the binding there. It is a quality binding as well. Over 250 pages of fantastic art. Let's look at the spine there. Titan Books have done an amazing job. It's well worth the money. You know, I paid £30 odd for it, which is the same price I paid for the actual game, but it's worth it. You know, and I don't mind paying that. I don't mind supporting the game and the artists. It's been a long video. You know, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Sweet fucking relief.
He thinks of this stuff. It's very Super Mario the way that appeared. It's a bong. Okay, so thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a great book to own. I'm really enjoying owning this book. Thank you and goodbye.